Hello again, YouTube. So right now I want to do a video called My Embarrassing Moments. This is like reasons why Dan's a fail from Dan is Not on Fire, but it's basically all of my embarrassing moments wrapped up in one segment. Alright, so in my other video I had that I was actually going to write these down. Nope. Procrastination. I didn't do it. I sat on my laptop the entire time. So my embarrassing moments. Okay, so I'm going to list 5 different embarrassing moments in one video. So, number 1. Since I should probably start from the earliest age I remember. That was not good. That can count as one of them. I'm gonna end up breaking my camera is what I'm gonna end up doing. Okay, so what I can remember from when I was really young, is, let me see, because I've had a lot of them. I've got to think of which ones to actually use. So, this one time I was at my cousin's birthday party, and for some unknown reason we decided to turn off all of the lights in her basement when me and a bunch of her friends that, of course, me being awkward at the time, I knew only my cousin, so we decided that it would be, let me set the mood for this. Let me set it here. Okay. It's a little dark. Darker than I thought it was going to be. Hang on. I hope that somewhat helps. No it does not, which kind of actually very much sucks. Okay then, no setting the mood. I thought I could set the mood with that. Anyway, so we decided to turn off all of the lights in her basement and basically run around just hysterical doing random stuff. And keep in mind, her house at the time was actually here where, not this house, but it was not too far from here, and all the houses here have basements where your light switches are by the staircase, and the rest of your basement has no light switches whatsoever, unless you're in a different room. But for one room, you have either by door and or staircase light switch. Rest of the room, none. So, my cousin being slightly younger than all of us, decided she was going to stand in the middle of the room, and I was going to run over, turn the light off, and we were all just going to run around hysterically. My cousin got knocked over, trampled, and when we turned the lights back on, excuse me, when we turned the lights back on, finally, I think I know how to set the mood. Let me try this. Mood set. So, when we finally figured out how to, turn the lights back on without anyone tripping over stuff and dying, we realized that her and 4 other girls were laying on the floor, and I'm just kind of standing there by the light switch while everyone else was having a blast being trampled and knocked over. I was the party killer. Now, everyone being, that we were all 7 or 8-ish, that awkward time when you're 7 and 8 years old and, you do something and everybody just kind of looks at you and you just fall into this deep emotion of feeling completely awkward and like the mess of the party. So, you know, and being that I at the time had a tendency to not necessarily purposely happen to be that person, that awkward person, yeah, oh my nose is itchy. But anyway, I turned the light on, and nobody noticed I turned the light on for like 2 minutes, and then finally they all just kind of looked at me in awkward disarray of what I had just done to their fun little situation that resulted in 2 people getting not necessarily seriously hurt, but at like 7 years old, yeah, you think stumbling and scraping your knee on a cement floor is being seriously hurt. You think that's like the worst thing ever. But, it resulted in 2 people getting knee scrapes, 1 person tripping over a couch, a bunch of other people just smacking into each other and running into each other, and complete chaos, and my cousin, meanwhile, laying on the floor, basically being stepped on and trampled by a bunch of other girls. And I was the awkward one to ruin that fun by hitting the light switch because my cousin was screaming in pain. Now, obviously, some people in that situation would just be like, oh, well, I thought somebody got seriously hurt. Well, you are still that awkward person in that situation. To this day, I still feel like I was the most awkward person in that situation. Number 2! Yay! Alright, so, secondly, when I was I was like 13, I think. I was at a church picnic for a church thing, and you all know those, I forget what they call them, but they're like the spinny, not seesaws, whatever those spinny things are. You hold on to them and you spin them around, and they have them on most playgrounds. Well, I was on it, a couple of friends, and then a couple of high schoolers. Well, one of the guys decided he was going to spin it as fast as he could, and being that I have no balance whatsoever and no hand-eye coordination, when someone says hold on right before they spin, I hold on for dear life and usually end up slipping. So, in this particular situation, I basically let go out of God knows what reason. I let go and I flew a couple of feet off of it and landed in just a pit of sand. And being that I was slightly wet from being in the pool that was there, it was even worse. And it was like 102 degrees. The sand pit was directly in the sun. So obviously, flying off of a colder metal object that was in the shade and landing into a pit of sand while you are slightly wet and the sand is basically on fire, you tend to turn red in the face. And everybody just kind of stared at me, and there were people who even laughed at me for it, and I just kind of felt awkward, and I just kind of sat there like, and I tend to feel awkward in a lot of situations, so, another thing, this is going to be number 3, my throat is getting really, really dry, this is going to be awkward situation number 3 out of 5, I was at the mall with 2 friends of mine, and we were gonna basically just kind of, run the mall like teenagers do, eat, hang out, run around, just go nuts, I was gonna do that with, them, and then they're like, oh, let's go hang out with this group of people. I knew no one in that group of people, and I happened to be the awkward one that, really had to pee at the most awkwardest of times, because we were standing in the middle of, I don't know if you guys have Belk where you all are and whatnot, but we were standing in the middle of Belk, which was a little ways away from a bathroom, because at the time they were renovating the bathrooms. Secretly, I think they were just trying to have the store employees just use the bathroom, but, they said they were renovating it, but I feel like the store employees were just being selfish, and not sharing. But anyway, so I was that awkward one that, desperately had to pee. So, instead of just, saying that I had to go use the restroom and, letting them know where I was going, nope, I didn't do that. I tried to simply slip away, run to the bathroom, which was 2 minutes from Belk, and then run all the way back before they left. Well, that 2-minute run turned into about a 10-minute run when I got caught up in a large crowd of people who were basically there for a stroller derby, which is when two people with strollers decide they're going to see how fast they can go down the walking lanes of the mall without getting yelled at by mall cop security. Well, stroller derbies always tend to attract large crowds of just stupid freaking people. So, these large crowds of people who crowd around to actually watch these stroller derbies, and the strollerists themselves, you're trying to get to the bathroom because you've desperately got to pee, and nope, these people just will not let you through until their derby is over. Well, after I had waited out them to basically move along and go on with their days and their lives, I finally got to the bathroom, which was great. And then, when I was coming back, I got caught up in what is known as the joggers crowd, which is a enormous crowd of old people jogging up and down the walking lanes of our slightly small mall. So that took me approximately another 5 minutes to push through and swim my way through this large crowd of hot, sweaty, saggy, old person cloud of just complete disgust. Yeah, so by the time I got back to Belk, they weren't there, and I'm like, where are they? And, I wandered around Belk for a while, still couldn't find them, so I decided to check the next best place, which is the mall coffee shop that everyone goes to, which is Mugshots. I could not find anyone out of the people I was hanging with. So, at this point, I felt completely abandoned, like they had all just kind of realized I was gone and decided to pick up and leave, and I felt awkward. Well, then I started roaming the mall alone, sad and depressed, and still getting caught in these weird, I don't know what you call them, but weird clusters of people. And then I see my friend, and I feel like I'm in heaven. I run, grab onto my friend, nearly tackle him over, and then they all looked at me awkwardly, and yeah, nobody's let me live it down since then. I've never heard from the friends that I used to hang with a lot that I was with that night, or the random people that I'd met. I haven't seen any of them since that night. I haven't heard anything from them since that night. So I take it that was a pretty awkward experience for not only me, but them. Alright. On to number 4. Another awkward experience. Freshman year, I was in ASL 1. I did that wrong. It's crap. ASL 1. And we basically had to do presentations on. It was presentations on either deaf activists or people, like famous deaf people or whatever, and this group of guys that was doing one of my all-time favorite places, Edinburgh, Scotland, they were doing it, and they kept pronouncing A, the name wrong, B, the entire thing wrong, and they were just getting so much information wrong, and I corrected them, and then a bunch of people started laughing, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, oh, because, yeah, the one guy, that is still friends with a friend of mine that I'm friends with today, still hates me because of it, because I guess I made him look like a joke and whatnot, but I felt so awkward correcting him, because then, you know, everybody kind of gave me death stare, because he was one of the popular kids at the time. I think that was 5 of 5. I'll go ahead and give you another random one, just in case that was not 5 of 5. Another awkward moment. So, I was with my friend, actually this was just I think it was last month or the month before that. I was with one of my friends, and I was spending the night with her, and let's just say we had a lot of sugar, and things were just crazy, so we decided at a later part of the evening to walk to a park near her house, and then as we were coming back, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just so mentally confused at the time, because I have these spells where I just get confused about everything, where I don't know where I am, I don't know who I'm with, I don't know what's going on. I have those spells, like, they just happen out of random. Usually when I'm babbling on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, and we were supposed to be walking back to her house the same direction we came. Well, she decided she was going to run ahead, and I was just kind of walking because, you know, it was the end of a school day, so obviously me, when I get home from school, usually it's come home, take a nap, wake up, eat dinner, go to bed. Well, that particular day, that's not how it went at all. It was come home, go to her house, do a bunch of stuff, go back to her house, eat and eat and eat, and then hopefully pass out because, you know, full stomachs and whatever. You know, and she decided to run ahead of me, so then I stood there for a second and had a kind of confusion moment, if you want to call it, where I wasn't sure where I was going. I wasn't sure what I was doing in that particular situation. I had completely forgotten she was, you know, just a little bit ahead of me. So I started walking across the street away from her house and down the road to God knows where, when she runs after me, grabs me, turns me around, and we start walking back to her house, and at that point in time, I was like, what? And then we got there, and we started telling her uncle, and then her uncle kind of looked at me like I was completely crazy. So things were awkward in that situation. Alright guys, apparently I've only been babbling on for 20 minutes, but I feel like I've been babbling on for a lot longer than that. So, I hope you've enjoyed the first segment of my embarrassing moments. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff on this video and all of my 100 and some videos. Okay, I will see you all later. Bye!